Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. You're here because you want change, not tomorrow, not someday, none oh do. And I'm not here to sugarcoat it. When your body breaks down, when your health slips, you don't get a second one. But here's the game changer. ITEALs a D live VR, and it works instantly. That's not just hope, that's power. And today, I'm going to show you how to take that power back, own your health, and transform your life starting right here, right now. The body can heal faster than you think. And that's the truth most people don't realize until they've pushed themselves to the edge. We live in a world where we've been conditioned to believe that healing takes forever, that once something breaks inside us, it's over, or that recovery is a slow, painful crawl. But the reality is far more empowering. The human body is built with an incredible, almost miraculous ability to repair, regenerate, and restore itself when given the right tools and conditions. Your cells are not static, they're constantly renewing. Every single day, billions of cells in your body are dying off and being replaced with new ones. And this constant cycle of renewal means that transformation isn't only possible, it's built into your biology. Think about your liver for a moment. This organ is one of the most resilient powerhouses inside you. Even when it's been damaged, even when it's been pushed to its limits, it has the unique ability to regenerate, to literally rebuild itself from the inside out. That's not a miracle story, that's science. That's your own physiology at work. But the problem is, people underestimate this gift. They drown it in toxins, they starve it of nutrients, they sabotage it with habits that destroy rather than fuel. And then they throw up their hands and say, I'm broken, I'm sick, it's too late. No, it's not too late. The moment you shift what you put into your body, the moment you decide to replace destruction with nourishment, the healing switch flips on. Blood flow improves, detoxification pathways clear, inflammation begins to drop, and the cells inside you start doing what they've been designed to do since the beginning: regenerate. This isn't about waiting years. This isn't about living with pain and hoping for the best. The body responds quickly, often instantly, to the right signals. You cut out the toxins, your liver immediately begins to filter more efficiently. You hydrate, your cells immediately begin to function more effectively. You flood your system with nutrients, antioxidants, oxygen, and movement, and your body immediately begins to repair. It's not magic, it's momentum. The faster you take action, the faster the body kicks into its healing mode, and that speed of transformation will shock you if you've only ever believed in slow decline. The body is not your enemy, it's your ally, and its ability to heal faster than you think is proof that you have more power inside you than you've ever been told. Your liver is your life engine. Protect it, because without it, nothing else in your body runs the way it should. People talk about the heart as the core of life, but the liver is just as critical, working behind the scenes every second and every day, filtering toxins, metabolizing nutrients, storing energy, producing proteins, and keeping the entire system in balance. Imagine a car engine that runs nonstop, processing fuel, burning off waste, keeping the machine moving forward. That's exactly what your liver does for you, only it never gets a break, never shuts down, and never stops working on your behalf. Yet most people ignore it, abuse it, and only think about it when something goes wrong. Alcohol, processed foods, excess sugar, synthetic chemicals, medications, and environmental toxins all land on the liver's shoulders to process and neutralize. Over time, that overload is like pouring sludge into the engine, clogging it up until performance breaks down. What people don't realize is how much the health of their liver determines the health of everything else. When the liver is compromised, digestion suffers, hormones get thrown out of balance, energy levels plummet, fat builds up, and inflammation spreads throughout the body. It's not just about one organ struggling, it's about the entire system starting to collapse. But here's the power you need to understand. The liver has an extraordinary capacity to regenerate, to rebuild itself, even after significant damage. It's one of the only organs in the body that can literally grow back healthy tissue if you give it the chance. That resilience is a gift, but it only works if you respect it and give it the environment it needs to thrive. That means cutting the toxic overload, feeding it with nutrient dense foods, giving it hydration, oxygen, and movement, and making choices that lighten its workload instead of adding more weight. Every time you choose water over soda, every time you choose whole foods over chemicals, every time you choose rest over stress, you're making a deposit in the health bank of your liver. It's your life engine because every ounce of energy, every moment of vitality, every bit of strength you feel depends on its ability to keep the machine running clean and strong. Instant results come from instant action, and that's where most people get stuck. They want the change, they dream about the outcome, but they stall at the starting line waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect circumstances. The truth is, nothing changes until you move, until you take that first step, until you stop talking about what you want and start doing something about it. The body doesn't sit around waiting for the stars to align. It responds immediately to the signals you give it. The second you change what you put into your system, the second you choose to hydrate, to fuel, to breathe deeply, to move your body, your physiology reacts. Blood flow increases, oxygen uptake improves, cells activate, hormones shift, and energy begins to rise. That's not weeks or months down the line. That's right now. Action creates reaction, and the body is wired to respond instantly to what you give it. People underestimate the speed at which change can start because they've been conditioned to think transformation is only long, slow, and painful. But the truth is, the first surge of change comes the moment you make the choice. You eat clean for a single day and inflammation begins to drop. You commit to a workout and endorphins fire. You cut out toxins and the liver starts to clear more efficiently. You choose to sleep and your cells start repairing within hours. The body does not procrastinate, it only mirrors the input you provide. Waiting for change doesn't bring results, doing something different does. Momentum is built in the instant you move forward, and that momentum compounds. Small steps lead to bigger shifts, and those bigger shifts snowball into transformation, but it all begins with that one moment of action. The problem is that most people talk themselves out of acting by overthinking or by convincing themselves it's too late, too hard, or too complicated. In reality, the hardest part is starting, and once you do, the instant feedback from your body proves that you're on the right track. You start feeling clearer, lighter, more energized, and that immediate payoff fuels the drive to keep going. Instant results don't come from luck. They come from flipping the switch and taking action now instead of waiting for tomorrow. Excuses don't heal. Commitment does. And that's the dividing line between people who stay stuck and people who transform. Everyone has excuses, ready to go, no time, no energy, too stressed, too old, too far gone, too complicated. Excuses sound reasonable in the moment. They give you a way out, they let you off the hook. But what they don't do is change your reality. They don't repair your body, they don't restore your health, and they don't bring your life back into alignment. Excuses are comfort zones disguised as logic, and they keep you exactly where you are. Commitment, on the other hand, is uncomfortable because it demands consistency, effort, and responsibility, but it's also the only thing that creates change. When you commit, you close the door on negotiation with yourself. You decide, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how inconvenient it feels, no matter how many distractions come up, you stay the course. That decision, that refusal to back down is what sparks results. The body doesn't need perfection. It doesn't need you to be flawless. It just needs your commitment. It needs you to show up day after day, making choices that align with the outcome you say you want. Commitment means putting your health at the top of your list instead of leaving it at the bottom to be dealt with only when crisis hits. It means facing the truth of your habits and deciding to rewrite them instead of rationalizing them. Excuses say, I'll start tomorrow. Commitment says, I start now. Excuses say, I can't because commitment says, I will until. The difference in language is the difference in results. Every excuse takes you one step further from healing. Every commitment takes you one step closer. When you choose commitment, Your body responds with progress, your energy shifts, your mind clears, and the momentum builds. Healing is not a passive process, it's an active partnership between you and your body, and only commitment activates that process. Excuses waste energy, commitment invests it. Excuses build frustration, commitment builds resilience. Excuses keep you in pain, commitment opens the door to recovery. The truth is that every transformation story you've ever heard started with a moment of commitment where someone finally decided they were done with excuses and ready to take their health back into their own hands. Every choice is either poison or medicine, and that truth shows up in every area of life, whether you acknowledge it or not. Every bite of food you take, every drink you consume, every breath you inhale, every thought you allow to settle in your mind is sending a direct signal to your body, pushing it toward healing or toward harm. There's no middle ground, no neutral territory where choices don't matter. The human body is a responsive system, constantly adapting to what you give it, and it never stops translating your actions into outcomes. Poison doesn't just mean toxic chemicals or dangerous substances. It can be the processed food loaded with additives, the excess sugar that floods your system, the alcohol that overworks your liver, or the chronic stress that keeps your hormones in chaos. These choices accumulate like drops of acid on steel, slowly corroding your health, draining your energy, and blocking your body's natural ability to repair itself. On the other side, medicine doesn't only come from a pill or a prescription. Medicine is water that flushes out toxins, fresh food that nourishes your cells, movement that keeps your blood circulating, deep sleep that restores your brain, and even thoughts that reduce stress and release healing chemicals. When you choose these, you are actively instructing your body to recover, to rebuild, and to perform at its best. What people often miss is the compounding effect of small decisions. One soda won't destroy you, and one salad won't save you, but repeated day after day, those patterns become your reality. Your body is the result of millions of these micro decisions stacked on top of each other, silently shaping the quality of your health. The liver is the clearest example of this truth. It processes everything you consume, filtering out the poison when it can and thriving when you feed it medicine. Overload it with toxins and it struggles, give it nutrients and it regenerates. The difference is entirely determined by what you decide to hand it each day. That's why every choice matters more than you think. In the moment, it feels small, forgettable, even harmless, but over time, those choices are carving the path to either decline or recovery. The fork in the road is always in your hands, and it comes down to whether you decide to poison your body or to heal it with medicine through the decisions you make. You hold the power to flip the switch now, and that power is something most people underestimate. Too many believe that transformation is only possible through outside intervention, waiting for a miracle cure, the perfect program, or someone else to save them. The reality is that the power to change is already inside you, waiting for the moment you decide to use it. The body is not passive, it is designed to respond to the choices you make, and it does so immediately. The switch is flip the second you decide to act differently, to fuel yourself instead of deplete yourself, to move instead of remain stagnant, to breathe deeply instead of drowning in stress, to choose discipline over excuses. That decision doesn't need to be loud or dramatic, but it must be intentional. One single moment of choice can redirect the entire trajectory of your health. The switch is not external, it's internal, and it's triggered by the mindset that you are no longer waiting, no longer delaying, no longer negotiating with your old patterns. The switch is flipped when you say yes to hydration, yes to whole foods, yes to rest, yes to consistent action. It's flipped when you reject the story that you're too old, too broken, too far gone, and instead declare that you are capable of regenerating, restoring, and reclaiming your energy. The beauty of this truth is that it gives you back control. You don't need to be at the mercy of your past choices. You don't need to carry the weight of years of neglect as if it cannot be undone. Your liver, your cells, your entire body has been built with a capacity to bounce back, but it needs you to send the signal that you are ready. That signal comes in the form of action, and the moment you take it, the body listens. It doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for consistency and commitment. The flip of the switch is not just about physical change, it's also mental. The mindset that says, I can, instead of I can't, is powerful enough to rewire habits, overcome setbacks, and build momentum. Every time you choose to flip the switch, you are choosing life, energy, strength, and healing. And the best part is that the switch is always available, waiting for you to turn it on.